This video is sponsored by I'm Using a Tire. They're adding new stuff every day. They're adding new cell phone covers. They got their summer line going. It's a sale. Everything's good. It's all cute, fancy, funny. Check them out. Hey everybody, it's Mr. Random. In this video, it's a quick video. I'm going to show you how to add a mount to your fstab in Linux. Now this works for almost all Linuxes out there. Pretty much all the ones that I've ever used. Ubuntu, all the Rails, Fedora, anything that's Debian or Red Hat, Arch. I think it's pretty much yeah. I'm not gonna go over everything because I could be here for a few minutes, but the goal of this is to show you how to permanently add a share to Linux fstab, or how to temporarily do it. Now, what a share is basically, let's say you have a source, let's say you have a hard drive on your network that you store on a server, or a shared hard drive that you have on your network. You plug into USB, you make it available to your network, and you want to access it from far away or from somewhere else in the house, whatever. You have a hard drive or some space you want to access through the network. Basically, it's a share. And what we're gonna need for this is we're gonna need to know what kind of share it is and the IP address, or the URL address for it. So all of these shares that I'm going to go over are local or internal. Now you can use remote shares and stuff like that, but this is a simple one that shows you how to mount something locally in your network. Now I'm kind of rambling on here, but I'm aiming this video towards a beginner, a very beginner, not somebody that knows an intermediate or a pro. Those people will be like looking at this and be like, this guy's an idiot or whatever, or there's 85 different ways to do this better than that. That's probably true. Sorry, my dogs are barking as there's 3 Chihuahuas and they get very annoying and loud very fast, so try to calm them down a little, but they're still going to keep barking, so I'm sorry if you hear that in the background. But we're going to continue. So most shares that people, most if not all shares that people are going to add in this situation are going to be the type that are called Windows shares or Linux shares. So in a Windows share, it's called SMB, which I don't know what that stands for. Your time.
Let me show you how.
So here we go. So SMB stands for the Server Message Block Protocol. That's what it stands for. But it's basically Windows. Windows uses that protocol, and it's one of the easiest ones to set up, I think, because well, I always set up SMB because a lot more people use Windows, so you're gonna run into that more often. But you gotta, when you're using Linux, you gotta know how to do both SMB or CIFS. Now CIFS shares are for basically Linux shares. So it's the Common Internet File System, which is pretty much Linux stuff. Now, in essence, right now I'm going to show you how to do a SMB share, and then in another video I'm going to show you how to do a CIFS share. It's almost the same. It's very small differences. Now nerds are gonna be like, "Oh, there's all kinds of differences. I'll kill you for not knowing it." I know, I'm sorry, but as far as explanation for beginners, there's not that big deal or much of a change. So, anyways, we'll go back. So I'll show you how to do the permanent addition first, because that's what I always recommend to do, especially if you're gonna be using a share every day. So I already know that this share is a SMB share, and I already know the address and everything. So what we do is we want to, alright, so to determine what drives you have or that the system has detected, you could put in DF, and DF would tell you the drives that are mounted or detected. So if we put DF-H, there's like 6 ways to do that, or do what I'm doing right now. So this right here would tell you everything that's mounted and how much memory is being used in human readable format. That's why I put -H. Now, if we wanted a different way to see everything that's either mounted or not mounted, we could do block ID, and that right there will show us the UID of a device. So right now there's only one, because I only have one on here, but that's /dev/VDA2. So if you were to add another hard drive on here, it would be probably SDA2 or something like that. And the reason why we want to add devices, local devices, with the UUID is, let's say it's a hard drive and you plug it in with a USB, or you unplug it or plug it in just randomly, or if it's a hard drive and you plug it in and take it back in, whatever, for whatever reason, every time you do that, and the mount point can change. So let's say this hard drive here is my USB device, and I unplug it and plug it back in. This /dev/VDA2, I can change. I can change to /dev/VDA3, and if all my shortcuts and everything I have is under VDA3, they're all gonna break. So that can happen. That can change. So to make it permanent, they created what's called a UUID. Every device gets a specific ID number when you plug it in, if it starts running on your system. That never changes. So let's say this one, we would copy it. It's whatever all these numbers is. And then we would go to, okay. So first we want to make a directory. I would say if you're going to do a permanent one or a temporary one, I would recommend putting your permanents in the mount folder. So you could do something like sudo mkdir slash Linux ISOs. That would be slash mount slash Linux ISOs. So that's the location where things get mounted. Usually on a lot of Linux distributions, that's where they go, the USB drives and stuff like that. So /mount /Linux ISOs. That's Linux ISOs is the name of my folder that I'm going to use, or what I'm going to name that drive. So after we do that, then we want to do sudo nano /etc/fstab and enter on that. And I'm going to explain to you real quick the scheme here. So because this is a network share, we have to do / like that, which I believe is called a /, then the IP address, then of the server or the location, then the name of the original folder you're trying to share, which was, this one's called movies, so it'll be /movies. And then this is where the location of the mount is on. It's going to be on my computer or your device that you're trying to mount that on. So let's just say this is 192. I'm making this address up, but it would be .1.122/Linux ISOs. Then it's gonna mount on my computer under /mount /TV shows CIFS. Now, if this is password protected, then you're gonna have to put, there's like 3 or 4 or 5 different ways to do this. I'm gonna show you the way I learned it. You would put in username equals whatever username it is in that system to get in, and then the password, which would be the whatever password it is to get into that system. Then if it's read and write, if you're running into read and write issues, you're going to want to add some more information with commas here, like this here, file underscore mode equals 0777, and directory mode equals 0777, and then 00. Now what this means is that the folder that is basically going to read the information in 777, which will allow you to make changes to that folder, read and write. Now that doesn't overwrite the instructions that are already set up on the original server. That doesn't change those instructions. It just makes it so that on your end here, this folder will be read and write or whatever permissions we're making it here. I know it's kind of confusing, but we have to do it this way so the full rules will completely come through. Now, I've done it this way. I'm sure there's better ways of doing it, maybe like 0644 and things like that, different permission modes, and I can get into that later on, golly, on a different video on permissions and what they mean. But I'm sure I'm going to get a hater saying, oh, you should have changed that to 0644. You're an idiot. You deserve to die. That's a whole different other video. You might want to do that. That's what I think the original mount is 0644. But like I said, I had permission troubles, and since I was having permission troubles and the original source is not a secure source, I don't need to like hide it or protect it or anything like that. Then I went ahead and did this as 0777 because if the only person that's going to have access on my end to it is me. And if they try to get to it, there's going to be like 6 or 7 firewalls they have to get through. Anyways, we're getting winded here. So we put in that information, but this one's not password protected or nothing like that, so I don't have to put any of that. And basically then we would just put 0, 0, and you're done. That's it. That's how you would do the share. Now, I was just showing you this part here as an example. So that's how I have it set up on mine. Now, before I switch to the non-permanent way of doing this, I'm going to show you another thing too. So let's say you add a hard drive, a USB device to your computer, and you have Linux, and you want it to be, or you add a new hard drive into your system, and it's not your main hard drive. Let's say it's a secondary drive, and you want to use it as a storage or something like that, and you want to add that permanently to your system instead of having to boot it or whatever, unmounted, mounted, all that stuff. Then the best way to do that is to add that into your fstab as a UUID. Now, what a UUID is, I'm not too sure, but I think it's a universal, unique identifying device or whatever. And what that means is, I'm gonna show you a quick example of what that is. I'm gonna get out of here real quick. So if you're mounting a hard drive, like you just added a hard drive, or let's say you plugged in a USB drive to your machine, and you want to add it just temporarily, then for whatever reason, then again you would still have to make a folder. So like I said, I make mine in mount, as I've been doing it for years. You could do it anywhere you want, but you could just do mkdir slash mount slash porn, and then make that folder. Oh well, you gotta do sudo, and then you would do the mount command. So mount. Uh, Again, in this situation, we're gonna use your UID, which I already showed you how to define, which is BLK block ID. That will show you all your hard drive devices that are plugged in, and will show you the UIDs for each one. Now on this one I only have one, so that's why it's only showing me one. But if I had two, then it would show me the other one. Now this here is how to mount it. So if you're doing like a USB drive, most of the time that's already formatted, you already got stuff on it, and it already has its own extension or formatting. So that would be taken care of. Now if you're adding a hard drive that's brand new, you still haven't formatted and done anything like that, that's a different kind of video. But you have to make sure the drive is formatted with a particular type before you can mount it on a system. So in this one's already mounted extension 4. It's formatted as extension 4. But anyways, so that's how we get the block. Now you don't have to do it as UUID, especially if it's temporary. But I always do it like that. I always use UUID most of the time. But you could also do the UUID, copy and paste that, or you can copy and paste the location, which is dev/VDA2. So again, we would do mount slash or mount, yeah, slash dev/VDA2, and then space, and then where we want to, because we're mounting the drive here to our computer to where the mounting point we want, so slash mount slash porn, and then that's it. Hit enter and it's done. Now let's say again, like if you wanted to use the UUID, then you could just put in mount and then all caps UUID equals whatever the fuck you copied and pasted there, and it would be the same thing. I know this video is kind of convoluted, it's kind of all over the place, but it was, like I said, a quick video, and it's raw. I was just doing it now to be fast. So if you need me to go over anything else, I will. If you need me to show you how to format drives, brand new drives, or brand new logical volume groups, whatever, let me know. I can do that in Linux or Windows. But this is going to be it for now. If you have any questions, leave a comment or go to my Discord, leave a comment. Thanks. Love you. Bye.
Please like and subscribe.